Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 118 of the Homegames podcast. I'm Yazeed, and this is Joseph.
Hello, I'm Joseph, and today is Tuesday, October 11th, 2022. This week, we're going to talk about a video I made about Sponge, and then some plans for the rest of the year, and kind of my thoughts about when we should launch Homegames and call it a 1.0, just kind of what I'm thinking there. So pretty light on Homegames stuff, I guess, specifics, because that video took a lot longer than I expected. But before that, Yazeed, you went to your second ever rap show over the weekend.
Second ever concert in general.
That's the only concert to me is rap shows. Everything else is just more of a demonstration of music, you know? Rap shows are like their own thing.
Yeah, we went to go and see Pusha T. He was in a neighboring town, Phoenix. And it was a lot of fun. If I was going to compare Pusha T to Benny the Butcher, I would say Benny the Butcher was certainly there for the bag, and Pusha T was certainly there for the vibe. It was cool. He seemed to generally be excited and into it. The crowd was generally excited and into it. There wasn't almost a fight. There was almost not like someone wasn't like almost thrown out or something like that. It was super cool. I don't know any Pusha T songs still, but it was a lot of fun.
Did the concert make you want to listen to Pusha T? Because I sent you some songs. It was like, hey, these are really good. And you were like, yeah, I'll get to those. And then, did this inspire you?
Kinda. I think like some amount of it is like, I don't know if I'll ever fit a lot of rap into my music library, if that makes sense. Like, I think it's fun to enjoy. And because I feel like what I like about rap is that there's like a lot of like story element to rap. Like, it's not just like the rap song. There's like some history that goes into the rap song. Like, when you listen to it and you like tell me like, oh, and then like that line is actually like a reference to this like other like more famous thing that happened, like this big deal that happened, or like something like that. Like, this dude's beefing with this other guy, and he said some crazy stuff on this song about him. Like, I like that stuff, and I think that's really cool. And I don't get that from just listening to the song. It's like oral tradition kind of, but in music form, if that makes sense. And I'm here for it.
So is it something that when you're like 60, and you have all the time in the world, you'll just put on a Pusha T album front to back and really soak up the coke rap?
Yeah, maybe. I think if I was going to sit down and listen to a rap album, I'd have to do it with you, and then I would need you to give me like commentary on the side. Like, basically, I would have to like listen to the song, and the first time through, we'd have to like pause it, and you have to be like, "Hey, this line, super dope. Check this out. Talking about murdering someone here, specifically this guy," and I'm like, "That's sick." He does have some banger lines though.
When he said they're on some shootout shit in Brambleton.
Yeah. The on some shootout shit. I was like, that's a good line. That's a great line.
Well, good. I'm glad you enjoyed the experience. I liked the part where during one of the songs there were just step-by-step instructions on how to make crack. I forget what song it was, but yeah, overall great show. It was very small. Like, Pusha T is way more. I read it on Reddit. Someone said he is bigger than the venue. Like, I read that's a 2,000 person venue. He's way more famous than 2,000 people. So the fact that we even got to see him that close, someone that big, was super cool. And yeah, we left early because we're old men and traffic is bad and people are scary. So we were there for like 40 minutes total. We saw the hits and got out of there. But yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, it was dope. That was actually a 10 out of 10 experience. I don't know if I'd see Benny the Butcher again, but if Pusha T was like, I'm coming back for round 2, and you were like, you want to go? I'll be like, yeah, I'll go. You know what I mean?
Nice. Yeah, I'll have the list of good performers, because like I was telling you on the way back from Phoenix, but I've retired from concerts for the most part, unless it's someone, like we're going to go see Flo Milli. You don't know who that is, but Synovia and I are going to go see Flo Milli at some point. But other than that, I don't have any concerts I want to go to. So any known good performers, you and I will go, so we can finish out this real life music experience thing of yours.
Hey, let's go. When you said we, I was like, did I agree to go and see another rap show? And I completely spaced it. Like,
oh, Flo Milli. Yeah, no, I don't think you'd like Flo Milli. She's a woman. I don't know.
Oh my god.
I'm just joking. But yeah, so that's basically it for the Pusha T concert. Unless you had anything to add.
Is on that shootout shit. And that's pretty important to know and note and memorize.
Well, I too am on that shootout shit metaphorically with Homegames stuff because I did my video on Sponge finally that I've been wanting to do for weeks. Basically, I got Sponge to a workable state, like a demonstratable state, kind of an E3 demo if we were to do that. But a lot of it was still broken. A lot of the code was still busted, and I wanted to go rewrite it. But that would have been a lot of time. So I just thought, okay, I'm going to call it here and make a video. So, yeah, it's buggy and shitty, and it's something I can improve on in the future. But basically, that's the state of Sponge. I'm going to push that up at some point once I put a bow on it, I guess, which I guess I'm saying is already done. That's like the thinking. I'm like, there are so many things I want to do with it, but I just have to cut it off. So I'm going to cut it off and just push it and whatever. No more changes. It's done. But after that, I'm going to work on network play, which is a thing I mentioned a few times before. But basically, the thinking would be you have a public room. Oh, yeah.
But sorry, before you go on to the network play stuff, can I ask you some questions about the Sponge?
Oh, yeah.
Is there like a feature set, like a dream feature set that you would have for Sponge that isn't there right now? Like what would you add to it?
It's not features. It's more of just finishing out what's there. So like in the video, I say, the ball doesn't hit the wall. That's one thing. Yeah, and then just bugs, like when it hits the corner, the game crashes. There's an audio bug where like if the ball's scraping along the wall, it'll play audio thousands of times and basically make the game unplayable until you restart the server. Just jank. Like
very playable. Hyper playable.
Yeah, you definitely need to play it on mute because that bug happens 1 in 3 sessions that I've been in. It's pretty common and it's a weird one. So, just crust generally around the entire thing that I want to remove. But at the end of the day, there's no value to removing that crust when the point of it was, can we have a moving ball on screen in kind of like a self-directed path? And that was supposed to be the point. That one we confirmed multiple times, like, yeah, this is smooth and good. And Synovia and I played it, and we were able to, on 2 different phones, just like click and drag Pong paddles. Like, it was fun for a little bit. So, yeah.
Nice, right on. That sounds super cool. Yeah. And my other question is, when you said you wanted to like rewrite it, is that like a full rewrite or more like a refactor on certain pieces? Does that kind of like dovetail into the other one? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Into like what you've just been talking about, like dovetail into what you've just been talking about. Yeah,
it's like the bugs came from bad code, and I would refactor every major part of the game. So essentially rewriting it, just because I kept tacking on things. It's the classic, or maybe my classic. It's the way I build things, but I don't design stuff. Like I don't think well before something happens. I have to kind of just like do it and build it and then go from there, and that's how I flesh things out. So it's kind of like a house of cards that I build, and then I get surprised when you do anything. It all falls apart. So I at this point have all of the pieces that need to be there. It's just the smarter me needs to rewrite it if I want it to be better. But like I said, it doesn't really provide much value at this point. So it's kind of whatever.
Right on.
If people are like, wow, this is the best game I've ever played, I wish they would fix the bugs, then at that point, sure, but that day seems far away.
Sponge was super cool when you showed it to me. So I imagine it is going to be very fun to play, even whether the bugs are there or not.
Yeah, well, I guess I'm saying it's far away because, like I said, for the launch stuff, I think we need to have... We need a clean, good download process before anybody even plays this stuff. I mean, even if you're my friend, do you really trust the code I write to just like run on your computer? You don't. So just having like I said last, signed binary so your computer doesn't warn you when you download stuff. I think that's the prerequisite to anybody caring at all about any of this. So. Anyway, Sponge by itself is cool. I would like to add controller support, which is the other thing I mentioned about wanting to do for launch. So one other quick note is when I was making that video, it takes a long fucking time to edit those videos and to, I have 3 different video tracks that I'm like putting it all together. So in the end, it's a shitty, simple video, but there are many layers in my video project, for it. So basically when I was processing the video, at one point I moved it from one computer to the next. and the hard drive almost crashed. And this is like my one main home games hard drive with 2 terabytes of data over the past 3 years on it. So it was like, hey, this drive might be fucked because of something that happened. Do you want Windows to repair it? And then I had about 5 minutes of me sweating and contemplating my entire life, but then it was all good. So, but that's like my worst nightmare as a data hoarder. So I need to go buy 4 more hard drives and copy it all to that, and then bury them in different parts of the world, just so I have data redundancy. You know.
It's probably going to be cheaper for you to just pay a data warehouse to store your stuff.
I don't trust companies, dude. That's the whole thing. I mean, all of our stuff's hosted on AWS, but no, I need to have my own everything. Because I basically had this realization one time when I got mad at an Amazon support person that they can delete your account, and that's associated with all your AWS stuff as well. So if I have data that I care about in there, someone can just delete it and it's gone. So that's why I'm a hoarder.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. All right. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt your thought process on it. You were talking about switching to network play. Or not switching to, but working on network play.
Yeah, so supporting network play is one of the things that's going to require infrastructure work. The infrastructure to have basically a server that we operate that will take someone's game and then make it accessible to other people. So that's going to be probably the biggest part of the work. The actual home game side, I don't think will require a whole lot of changes. So hopefully that'll be simple. It's really just a clean way to, do what I said, basically relay a WebSocket server. So if I can make that like a common library, which is one of my things I said a long time ago when we wanted to own the libs of having like a useful common library that's available to people. And it's not home game specific. So if you have a need to mirror a WebSocket server in kind of any generic way, you can use whatever I end up calling this library. But so that'll be kind of for the rest of the year, probably just working on that, finishing that, implementing that. And then hopefully, if things go well, I'll have about 2 weeks at the end of the year, like December 14th or so, where hopefully this stuff is done and I have a little bit of a break to just focus on home games work. So that's when I'll work on my controller library, which I'm going to call HomePad because that's cute. So HomePad is going to be our generic controller thing, and then unnamed whatever will be our WebSocket mirroring library, which I will use for network play and home games. And then at that point, it's kind of feature complete, I think, for version 1, where we have gamepads, whatever, everything I want available. And then it's that polish phase. So hopefully that'll be just like 2023, just like polishing things, and then hopefully launching a version 1 in summer of next year. So between June and September, having a actual full, honest, good, real, earnest attempt at releasing this thing. Hopefully at that point it's good and accessible and like in a state to even get feedback. I think that's been one of the things as we've been, or at least I've been frustrated because it's like someone noticed me, but you can get noticed, but if someone doesn't know how to even access the thing that you're trying to, like the core of what you're doing, even someone who cares, like they can't care if it's not easy to do so. You know what I mean? So anyway, 2023, that'll be the thing. Do you have any thoughts? That was like a lot of things I listed.
I like HomePad. That's number 1. It's a good name. I think the Home Game Study is a good name, or the Home Game Library is just a good name, like a generic library name for like a open source library tools that we end up making. Just so it's tied back to home games directly. I think network play will be pretty dope, even though I don't expect to want to leverage network play. In my head, like the reason I would play home games is because I have people over and we're going to play a game like in person. But you're right that network play is probably like something that's really important and valuable to other people. So I think that'll be like a good feature to have as well. Holy smokes. What else did you go over?
That's pretty much it. The gamepad library, the network stuff, launch window. I don't want to have a date yet because it's still a little fuzzy. Does that seem unreasonable, being able to launch and have this thing done and polished by 8 months from now?
I don't think so. I think that is super reasonable. I think that I think that Home Games is super close. Like, I think that the library and everything, like all the different individual pieces of it are super close and super, like, almost there, like you've said a bunch of times. So there's that last bit of polish that we're missing. So I do think so. I think the signed binaries will help a lot, because you've been right always that it's when you download the binary and you open it up and it's like, this could absolutely donk your computer. Are you 100% certain that this won't do that? It's really hard to get people who don't know us personally to try that out when that's the when the warning from most operating systems is this is probably not great. So yeah, I think that'll go like that'll take us like, I think 90% of the way there, basically, on getting people to like even try it out at all.
Totally, yeah. And I agree, it's super close. It's kind of like that thing I mentioned about the last 10%, or kind of common thing. The last 10% just takes forever, because you're never actually done. You always find something else that you want to improve, and you constantly stay at 90. So I guess my only worry is that polish stage is going to take a lot longer than I think it will, because it's like, oh, well, I need to fix this seemingly small quirk in the behavior of rendering or the behavior of network stuff or whatever. It's like, oh shit, well, this is broken, and so this is broken, and so you go down this rabbit hole of like into the roots and the core of everything, just trying to fix it because of this thing that you thought was small, but it was actually just like a whole structural problem. So I don't know. I think it'll be harder than I think, but I think if we bust ass, then we can do it, and get it to a state that is cool. Because even Synovia saying this is fun, but her whole thing is she has no insight into how it's going, because like she doesn't listen to the podcast, understandably, whatever. But from the tweets and from the whatever, it's like, well, what the fuck do you want me to do about that? You know what I mean? If I say, hey, this is available, it's like, so what? So
yeah.
That connection needs to be better. So yeah, that'll happen with the polish phase and the signed binary part. So yeah. Also, I want to up my video production value. I gotta get my editing game down or whatever and make it like fun. I also need to work on the vocal shifts. I talk in a monotone, so it's like I get bored of my own voice when I'm editing the shit. And it's like, hey guys, so today we're gonna work on this, which is all info, but there's no entertainment. So I need entertainment back in my life. So yeah, hopefully we find a cool way to make our videos more fun.
Pull that one kid who just sets off like a whole pyrotechnic show in his bedroom when he gets a kill in Fortnite.
That's smart, yeah. Or I'll I don't know, whatever. I think I would like to like I keep mentioning, I think it'd be cool if you and I did a hackathon stream just once to see if anybody cares at all. It would be a total mess, and we would fuck up a lot, and it would be a total nightmare for everybody involved, but I think we should try it.
I'm down to try it. It'll probably have to be on the other side of October, like somewhere in November, December, in that range.
Don't worry about scheduling. We'll figure that out. I'm so old at this point. Synovia and I have a shared like couple calendar with all of the things that we're doing over the next 2 months or whatever, because I keep forgetting, because I don't know what happened, but I just got old and started having shit to do every day. So we'll figure it out. I'll pencil you in for March, we'll see.
No shot on March. March is a tough one for me, but
actually, me too. I'm busy in March. Genuinely busy in March.
Yeah, getting old, dude.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that would be fun. I think the hackathon would be fun to do. I think going into it, we kind of have to have an idea of what we want to hackathon on, though. So I think that might be a fun brainstorming episode, or something like that, or something like this, where we're trying to figure out like what we want to hackathon on, and maybe just kind of like figuring out how, like, not how we want to do that, but like what are the gains from doing it? You know what I mean?
Well, what I think it is we have a solid, stable platform that we like and we trust. That's why I'm saying next year, because it needs to be close to release, close to stable enough for us to say it's final. And so then we can just work on a game together, make a game together, instead of you make a game and I make a game. It's like we should make a game, because that's never been a thing where we actually worked on one together, because the way you and I think and work on code and stuff is very different. So it might create some tension, some good stream drama, you know, some name calling, some tone rising.
Climb up on the top of the steel cage and drop the people's elbow on you.
Yeah, it'd be fun. So yeah, yeah. Anyway, it's just like something generally I want to do more, or at least try, because in my head, yeah, we're old, and I have shit to do, and so we have to try the stuff and be uncomfortable trying new stuff, and then, you know, quit. You know, just so we could say we did it.
That's fair. I think I'm gonna put forward the spooky hide and seek game that we've talked about a bunch of times. That
the location one?
Yeah. We don't have to have the geolocation done, but I think like if you built the core of that game in a hackathon and then started to look into how we would do geolocation, that would be pretty dope.
I don't know how you would have any sort of game without geolocation though, unless it's just the sounds.
Well, I mean, the way I would imagine it is somebody say there's like 5 people playing. One of those people is the seeker or the monster, however you want to describe it, and they don't have to do it. They on their phone they'll have like the names of everybody else, and if they tap it, it kills them if that makes sense, right? So like they find someone, they're like, you're dead. And then maybe the other person needs to confirm that they are in fact dead.
Okay.
That might be a good safety feature for cheater pumpkin eater. And then the other 4 people, before they start, they have to scream into their phone so that it has their scream. And then when they confirm that they are dead, everybody else's phone plays their scream. So there's got to be like a little bit of trust that like everyone has volume. But I think that's like a way of like, you know, the monster killed somebody, they screamed, but other people it kind of like tips them off where other people are, and so they have to like either move hiding spots, or if they're in a really good spot, maybe they hopefully elude even though there was a scream that came out of their phone. I
like it. I like the scream. That'll be fun. But yeah,
I think that would be like a big deal for a hackathon where you just have to like scream into your phone at one point. So if there is anybody watching, they're just gonna watch 2 adult humans scream into their phone, and then we could also try it, because I feel like we could like make that game pretty quickly, and then we could like try it out and see how it goes.
Yeah, yeah, we'll see. There are some things that I just think, I don't know. There's something about using the web client that just feels terrible. So I want to fix. That's what I'm saying. I want to polish things before we actually make anything real. So we'll see kind of where the system is, because, yeah, I don't know. That sounds cool, but the way we handle audio sucks. So we got to fix that.
True.
Yeah.
Luckily, this is more like a sound relay system more than like a podcast just thing playing on there.
Yeah, we can play one sound very well when we play a sound that lasts a long time, or God forbid multiple sounds. That's when it starts to get a little fucky. But yeah, one audio clip, clean, 0.6 seconds. Yeah, we're good. We got you.
Nice.
Yeah.
I think that's solid then for at least my game.
Nice. All right. So anything else before we wrap it up for this week?
No, I don't think so. Oh, I didn't get a chance to work on Square. Sorry, everyone who's been hanging on with bated breath for the relaunch of Square version 2. But I'm hoping that sometime this week I will have some time, or sometime this weekend more specifically, I'll have time to wrap up the last of it. If people remember that it's super close. Mostly it was an issue of how a collision gets detected. There was a custom one that doesn't work when the squares were downsized, so I'm switching to like the actual collision detection and blah 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 blah. I need to know if they're touching or if they're like intersecting. Anyway, long story short, Square V2 will launch soon. It'll be great.
The PR version of that is that our next generation physics engine is so advanced, so bleeding edge, that your computer actually blew up in the process. Your processor couldn't handle it. We actually found a new math just for this. So very exciting stuff. Can't wait to show you guys what collision. We redefined what that means actually. Newton rolling over in his grave.
R.I.P. our boy James Isaac Newton or whatever.
Pretty sure that's right.
I don't think James Isaac Neutron is I think it's just Isaac Newton.
It's all the same to me, dude. Once you have more than two names, I stop hearing them. It's not a real name to me. Anyway, that's all for us for this episode. Thank you, everybody, for listening. As always, our music is done by our friend Tynan. He is Nytan on Bandcamp. That is Nytan, Nytan. You can find us on Twitter at Homegames.io. We have a website, homegames.io. You can send us a message using the contact form at the bottom of the page. Send us questions, comments, concerns, whatever. I think that's everything.
Thank you so much for listening.
Bye.
Bye-bye.